name is Faye, and in this particular video, we're gonna do a little question about discrete mathematics. So this to it, so I what this question wants to do. It wants us to first compute a factorial, okay, compute fact, and after that we will use that function that or maybe that procedure in permutation and combination. I think for this it's better for us to see the code. And as you can see, I have my function about factorial. You see in this LMS, it using procedure. If you guys want to use procedure, do it by yourself. But for me, I like to do this as a function because it's returning one value. So that's why I use function in this. Okay, I have my reason. So as you can see, it's all just a formula. So my permute will call factorial x per factorial x minus y, and my combination will call factorial x divided by factorial y times factorial x minus y. So in this question, make permute and combination function, and it will use a factorial function. How do we do this? We actually made this before about factorial, but this is my approach for my factorial. It doesn't need a recursion. What we do here is using loops, and this is how you do factorial in loops. Okay, so for each iteration, you will store the result and times it every loops. By making 3 function in my main, this is not the best practice. You can make it simpler by using less variables, but it will not be as clean as this. So in this main, you guys already know that I will calculate 2 permute value and 2 combination value from this line 7. And after that, I always store the value of function inside a variable so you guys can understand it more clean. Permute val 1, combination val 1, permute val 2, combination val 2. And what I do in printing, I print the value of all process I do, all algorithm. So let's run this so we can understand it more. We go to cd fun proc review exercises. Okay, we go here and we go run math.this.good. So for all this source code, you can see in description box below. You can learn from it. You can modify it, go pull it to your own local computer and edit it there, whatever you want to do. Learn from it. So let's test 3. Okay, what it does, 60, 10, 3,062,628,801. Okay, so that's my first code to approach this first question. And after that, we go to the second question, second problem. So function composition. Okay, so as you can see, composition is like this. F, composition G, G, composition H. This is what you want to do. So when you let me explain you this in code terms because I think you guys will understand it more from a code. So I have 3 function. Maybe when you see this problem, you see this question, you see like, oh, there is operation 1, operation 2, operation 3, and you have your own simple function, f, g, h function. So you're thinking about how about I made 6 function? No. So the purpose of this question, I guess the creator of this problem, this question wants you to call a function inside another function, okay? But not like a recursion, you call it in main. So this is how you do it. See? hxgh. So you always call it like this. About the function is just a formula, but here you call it all inside another function. So first, let's see in line 8. First, you calculate the h function. After that, the value of that h function, it becomes the value of x inside the g function, and that value becomes the x inside the f function. That's what you do in this function. So let's test this. Go run function composition dot input 7 to 10. Okay, the output 36, 365. Okay, so the explanation will be F composition G composition H from 7 will be 36 and otherwise. Okay, so that's for a second problem, and this is the code. And we go to the third problem, which is simple. Okay, this what I don't really understand from this question, that it doesn't explicitly say to you on how to know that if firstly, if you want to read the question, you can read the question, but let me explain to you in a simple terms. Okay, so maybe this will be good in Miro. I try to make visualization out of it. Let's give it a loading first, because I think this is how you do the I think it's best to do this in visualization. Okay, so you have this. Okay, let's see in this visualization. You have a two circle. This is the programs wants you to do. And let's say it's on a Cartesian's coordinates like this. And maybe you have a circle here and you pick a random point. Let's say I have a point here, the green one. Okay. So this green point is outside circle 1 and outside circle 2. What if what if I have another point like this? What if I have another point here? Okay. What if I have point here, the red one, and I have the blue point here on the one? And let's say this for the example. Okay. So I think I'm gonna change the circle, become more like this. Okay, become more like this. Like this. Okay, so this is our circle. This is circle 2. So as you can see, I have 3 points. The green points is outside circle 1, circle 2. Okay, and the red point is inside circle 2. The yellow point inside circle 1, and the blue point inside both circles, circle 1 and circle 2. So what this question didn't explain to you, how do you know that, how do you calculate this area is, how do you calculate this point is inside the circle or no? So in my approach, and by doing some research, this is what I go with. Okay, so we have distance. This is your formula for distance. Formula that I do some research outside the question. And after that, this is the condition. Why this is the condition? Because mathematical proof say this, distance file is equals to the R times R, and this is your own formula. That's why, that's the thing the question doesn't explain. So yeah, I don't know why it doesn't explicitly say to you about how the code will it be. So, but this is as far as I can do. So we have a distance function and we have a function that returns Boolean. You will always see this is inside, is palindrome or anything. If it's return Boolean, you will always, you often see this like is inside, is what, is something. That's the name of the function if it's return Boolean. So in my main, as usual, I only use inputs and outputs. Okay. If in So to read this code, if your points is inside circle 1 or and circle 2, it will say that inside circle 1 and 2. And I think the code and the written explain itself like this. Okay, circle. So that's for circle question. I think this question, this problem is not that strictly say to you how to do how to get the output it wants, but yeah, always do some research outside the question. Okay, that's my advice. So okay, now for image processing, let me tell you what this code wants us to do. So let's see the table. You have four inputs, the width, the height, the symbol, and how many times you want to do zoom. Okay, so this code wants you to zoom wants you to zoom how many times, or maybe zoom out, zoom in how many times. So for 100, let me simplify this for you. If you get a plus, you will times the scale with the original width and height. If you get a minus symbol, you will divide the original width and height by the scale. Okay, so that's what you want to do in this code. Let's see, image processing. So for your image processing, you will have two procedures because the question said to do with procedures. We try to do it. I like better to use function, but I think in this example, I want you guys to see how procedure works. So I have scale because I will do the printing inside the procedure, so it will be more simple. Okay. So what I do, maybe the important thing you know about this function is it doesn't have return value because it's a procedure and it do the printing inside the procedure. But another major thing you need to do this scanf. So if you want to do scan character and anything, you can do scanf character. You will always often, not often, always see this if you want to scan a character, a byte data type. Okay, so what this line 10 say, I want to get inputs from user, two inputs, character and integers. So for integer we use %d and %c for characters. This is how you do it. And if symbol is plus, you do zoom in. If symbol is minus, you do zoom out. That's what the question or problem wants us to do. And okay, problem 5 is about balance. It's a long one, but again, I think the question doesn't really help you with how you get the output. So I always try to do outside research and do what I want to in my function. So in this function, imagine it as this, okay? This image, imagine this. You have the left object and you have the right object. And what you want to do, you will calculate the volume and you will calculate the mass of the object And if it's balanced, if it's the same, it will output balance. And if it's different, if it's has a difference, you outputting the positive value of the difference. So this is my approach on solving it. So because we know it as a tabular, we know that the uh, bottom and top area will be a circle, and after that we calculate the circle with a formula again and again. The question doesn't really tell you about the formula, so this is my outside research and this is what I get. It's all just a formula, okay? The key points in this code that I need to explain is maybe the display function, display procedure, because it doesn't return anything, okay? It's printing inside this procedure. So what you need to do, this, if you want to get a positive value of a difference, because a difference cannot be a negative value, this is what you do, okay? So if the difference is a negative value, you times it by -1, so it becomes a positive. I think this is a key point, and you can do this in many, many condition, okay? So inside this procedure, what you do is printing balance, or you do 3 decimal points to a difference. That's what you do in printing. So your main is totally just calling function. It doesn't even printing anything because your print is on another procedure. Okay. So you, like usual, you do dictionary inputs, you call all the function, and in this main, it doesn't even output anything. It just call another procedure to do it. So that's about balance and our last problem. So that's all for our review and exercises. You can access the source code description in description box below. And thank you and see you in another video.